Honestly, I think she plans to do something rash. She might even attack the guards. Ugh. Never. Ah, another newcomer. Delightful. What exactly can I do for you? What keen ears you have. You heard us discussing a private matter from way over there? Impressive. Perhaps you can put that inquisitive nature to good use. A newcomer, much like you, is stirring up trouble here in Lilandril. A member of the Mages Guild murdered a sapiarch, but now the murderer's friend is railing against the conviction, loudly. Talk some sense into her, would you? She might listen to another guest. You'll find her outside the Fighters Guild.
The plane meld is finally over. Does this mean we can go home now?
Finally, the courier. I expected you hours ago. You must acquire my materials at once. And don't think I'll compensate you for the rush, given you're the one who was late. Oh, well, I can hardly keep track of every face I hire. An artist's work is endless. I need colors. Rich, rare, vibrant. After all, this painting will be the masterpiece of my career. I simply cannot work with mediocre shades. Reagents, ingredients, naturally, of course. I require that you gather the supplies needed to make the vivid paint this masterwork requires. Just take this list. Oh, and this tea, of course, you'll need it to acquire the first item. Now hurry along. I really do need you to hurry along. Inspiration could strike me at any moment, and I simply must have the perfect colors when that time comes. Oh, of course, you're a fan. Well, I'm not surprised my popularity precedes me. I'm sure it's not every day that you meet an artist of my caliber. As long as it doesn't delay you for too long, you may ask me some questions. From what I gather, Somerset views its artists rather differently than the rest of Tamriel. It's one of the few ways to rise above your family's station and enter the world of the elite. This masterpiece shall be my final step. Oh, no. Being a renowned artist is a station all its own, and a highly respected one at that. From this generation forth, my descendants shall say my name with reverence. What more could one ask for? I'm known for my art, yes, but I need something to set me apart. A painting that shall hang for centuries, worshipped by those who gaze upon it. To do so, I need breathtaking, resplendent colors, vivid, powerful, emotional. The Aurealis! Oh, such a glowing orange it produces. Beautiful enough to bring tears to your eyes. The flowers are rare, but I happen to know a hilltop where they still grow. I've marked all the locations for you in the note. From what I gather, I'm known for my art. Hamelin's dye produces the most gorgeous teal you'll ever see. The Yokuden tea I've given you should be a good enough trade. Brodron's bug carcasses create grays with flashes of silver. He's already received payment, so just tell him my name.
Hard at work, Tindoria? How goes your finger painting?
I see you've deigned to step out of your florid abode. Come to see how a real artist creates.
I'd enlighten you with a response, but we both know my skill speaks for itself.
Why, you're certainly skilled at boasting. If only you had the artistic sense Auriel gave a mudharper, you might produce something of worth.
Your tongue remains as sharp as your wits. When I'm declared the royal court's newest artist, I'll be sure to send you an invitation to dinner.
What a kind offer, though I'm sure that won't be necessary. After all, we both know that I'll be the one to acquire that position.
So, you volunteered to collect Tindoria's arduous list of artistic materials? How exciting. Do try not to get eaten by anything unpleasant. Who am I? Honestly, I'm shocked you haven't heard of me. My works of brilliance are desired across all Somerset. My name reverberates throughout the land on the lips of nobles and commoners alike. An artist? No. I am the artist. I assure you, my confidence is well earned. Unlike poor Tindoria, she tries her best, but those with an eye for these sorts of things know the truth. She lacks a certain something. Hate, that's quite a strong term. Why, we're simply friendly rivals. It's always been that way ever since we trained together under Hainamil. Truly, I relish our time together. I'm simply the better artiste.
What is it?
Stay strong, Emil. I'll get you out of this.
Secure the prisoner in the Fighters Guild. Off you go.
You're a member of the Mages Guild, aren't you? Please, you have to help me. The Sapiarchs accused one of our compatriots, my best friend, of a murder he didn't commit. They won't even consider the possibility that he's innocent. Another Sapiarch named Haladon. Emil arrived at the gates of Lilandril, carrying Haladon's body, and confessed to the crime. But he seemed shocked, confused. I know Emil better than anyone. He's not capable of something like this. I swear it. He's a pacifist for Mara's sake. The Sapiarch's investigation was a joke. They just took Emil at his word and handed down the sentence. Of course, the local guild magister rolled over like she always does. Coward. Please, I need your help. The Sapiarchs say Emil confessed to murdering Haladon, but he'd never murder anyone. He loved Haladon. I don't know if he's confused or disoriented, but I do know he wouldn't do it. Please, talk to Emil. Convince him to recant his confession. Emil and I are both members of the Mages Guild chapter here in Lilandril, and students of the guild's chief diplomat, Kalawende. As for our relationship, Emil is my dearest friend. Has been since we were both in diapers. I don't know if he'll listen to anyone, but I don't have a choice. The Sapiarchs and Mages Guild consider the matter settled, and they've forbidden me from speaking to Emil further. No one has forbidden you to speak to him. You can still reach him. An order of high elf scholars and mages. They walk the halls of power here in Somerset, observing and advising. Of course, there's a thin line between advising and ruling by proxy. They're not over fond of us guild mages. They think we're reckless. To the Sapiarchs, stepping in puddles is reckless. Not folding your linens is reckless. By their standards, my 90-year-old grandmother is wild as a foal in springtime. No, the guild values new ideas, novel approaches, but it's far from reckless. He and Emil were very close. If you'd asked me before all this happened, I'd have wagered that one or the other was shopping for a ring of Mara. They had common interests, but more than that, they had common values. Gods, what a tragedy. Restoration magic, wards against disease and curses, that sort of thing. They'd been researching ways to prevent lycanthropy, vampirism, and other afflictions. You see, the Emil I know dedicated his life to healing people, not murdering them. Absolutely not. Emil's gentle as a lamb, and Haladon didn't have a conniving bone in his body. The tension between the guild and the Sapiarchs weighed on them a bit, but not so much that it would drive them apart. Like I said, Emil is innocent.
If you insist on involving yourself in some vain investigatory charade, I won't stop you. But tread carefully. The Sapiarchs have little tolerance for amateur detectives. Who are you? Hand of Auriel, what has Queen Irene wrought? I am Sorataril, Sapiarch Master of Psychocartography, the mapping of orbic thought forms and dream phenomena. I also find myself saddled with the role of cultural attaché. I interact with all manner of strange and uncultured individuals, but yes, I maintain relations between my order and the Mages Guild's new arrivals. A trying enterprise. Please, if only for my sake, keep your business here peaceable, all right?
I don't have anything to say to you or anyone else. Please, go. Yes. She's wrong. What? No, no! They already did an investigation. I murdered Haladon. It was me. Why are you inserting yourself into matters that don't concern you? I murdered a Sapiarch. I accept responsibility and my punishment. Go away. I don't want your help.
You there? Why are you interrogating Emil? I am Kalawende, Chief Diplomat of the Mages Guild. I apologize for my tone. This has been a trying time. The Sapiarchs consider this matter closed, you know. What are you doing exactly? Who sent you? Our interests may align. Vivine, look. I've uncovered something odd as well. The Sapiarchs have made it very difficult for me to intervene directly. Perhaps you can help. Emil met a shady merchant named Galador prior to the murder. That's very out of character for him. That's what I came here to find out. But it seems Emil doesn't want to talk. Galador has deep connections to Lilandril's smugglers and thieves. If you learn what Emil purchased from Galador, we might gain some insight into Haladon's murder. Galador stores his business ledger in one of the inn's larger suites. Unfortunately, he placed a hex on the book, making it impossible to read without a passphrase. If you discover the passphrase, you should be able to learn what Emil purchased. My contacts tell me that Galador left the city on business. Goodness knows what kind. No one will accost you while you investigate. Just be careful. It cannot become known the Mages Guild is investigating this matter after the Sapiarchs forbid it. She is tenacious. She often volunteers to help others. You won't find a more zealous advocate for the Mages Guild's goals and mission. In truth, I've never had a greater pupil, aside from Emil, of course. In my experience, people use talent as an excuse for idleness and lack of effort. Emil and Vivine both enjoy great natural ability, but Emil's focus on restoration magic indicates purer motives. He also works harder than anyone I know. Truthfully, I'd love to, but as a diplomat, I don't have that luxury. The Sapiarchs consider the matter settled, and officially, our Mages Guild has accepted their ruling. I have a duty to preserve our relations with the Sapiarchs. It has exacerbated tensions that already exist. The Sapiarchs see this murder as evidence of our negligence. Members of the Guild resent it, so we're caught in something of a downward spiral. Yes, The guard who found Emile, Milleron, the Sapiarchs classified him as a Ryazen, a critical witness. Anyone with close ties to Emile is forbidden to speak with him, but not you. I'll find out where they've hidden Milleron. You look into Galador.
Listen round, I've a warning to sound about an overgrown weed. I don't mean to forebode, but this little ode is a lesson you best heed. Now a story unfolds upon a pitiful mold, was made to thrive on rot. This unsightly staff was a trickster's last laugh, long after his battle was fought.
What in oblivion are you doing?
Sundering, if you were wondering, when the heaven dropped out of the sky, they hit with a thud and gave birth to the mud, making up this mortal sty. What the hell of a mess, but I digress. My story's about the swine. What to root in this land, where seeds called man that sprung up like fungus from grime. Their lives may be short and lacking import, but keep an eye to their blundering. It's tempting to jest about this simple pest. That's until you've seen their plundering. Oh, when men bound to the doom drum sound, you'll learn what the corpse god wrought. Trinimac didn't know with his final blow just how badly he'd been caught. I don't mean to forebode, but this little ode is a lesson you best heed.
Over here. I trust you were successful. My own inquiries were fruitful. I've learned where we must go next in this investigation. But wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Did you manage to break Galador's wards? What did you find? Honestly? What would Emile want with sheep's blood? And syringes? I'd suspect blood magic or chemical addiction if I didn't know Emile. Neither of those items are illegal. He must have bought them from Galador to keep the purchase a secret. I'll try to figure out what Emile wanted with these items. Meanwhile, I found the guard who arrested Emile, Milleront. I'm forbidden to speak to him, but you are not. The Sapiarchs moved Milleront to Lilandril's docks. Find out what he knows.
Go easy now.
Welcome to Lalandril. Just off the boat. Lots of sailors coming and going. Just don't forget to submit your shipping manifests to the harbor master. Unless there's something else you need. Sad business, that. I was at my post when I saw Emil with a body slung over his shoulder. Once he reached the gate, he slid Haladan's corpse onto the ground and collapsed. He just knelt there sobbing, saying, "I killed him over and over." He didn't seem mad, if that's what you're asking, but he wasn't lucid either. When it comes to murderers, I've met more than my fair share, so you can trust me when I say Emil's no murderer. He might have killed Haladan, but it wasn't on purpose. Look, you need to promise me you'll keep this to yourself. Saltbreeze Cave is just south of here. Well-worn entrance, wizard's tools scattered about. I tried to tell the Sapiarchs about it, but your answers are in that cave. Guaranteed. This business with Emil was just too odd. Once the Sapiarchs convicted him, I had to find the truth of it. I took my coursing hound, Othelus, down to the gate and had him follow Haladan's blood trail. It led right to the mouth of that cave. No, Saltbreeze has a sour reputation. It used to be a popular haunt for the city youth to drink, sing, fornicate, that sort of thing. Then we lost a pair of lovebirds in a salamander attack. It's been abandoned ever since. At least we thought so. Of course they did. They'd already declared Emil guilty of the murder. Can't lose face over something like this. You got a confession, Milleron, just let it go. Humph. They're just anxious to be done with this whole affair. That's the other thing. Haladan looked like he'd been thrown off a cliff. Legs broken, blood leaking out of his ears, collapsed ribcage. You tell me how a wiry Breton could do that to someone. Doesn't make a whit of sense. Unless he can conjure up a stone club the size of an ox yoke, I just can't imagine it. I'll tell you to examine the body yourself, but the Sapiarchs already burned it. Convenient.
If you've come to rob me, I'm afraid I have little of value. I can help if you've a high fever or nervous stomach, but I have no need for gold these days. Healthy paranoia, I suppose. There's plenty of questionable characters out here, but I prefer it to the crowded cities. Too many going on about their appearance or their status or their career. I'm done with such trivialities. Oh, it's been a long time since my former student has contacted me, and now she makes such demands. How quickly she forgets who trained her to hold a paintbrush. I have no need for gold. You can tell her that upon your empty-handed return. This is Yokudan blue tea? I thought it lost forever. The last shipment was said to have sunk to the bottom of the Abyssan Sea. Oh, she's still clever, isn't she? Her and Veralel always were. Very well, take my mixture. It's a good trade. Yes, back when I had the inclination to bother with such upstarts, I thought that would be my legacy, to train great artists who would blossom under a careful eye. Sadly, all they did was rot in their own hubris. The life of a Somerset artist is not easy. It's not enough to be merely great. You have to be better. Both Tindoria and Verarel wilted under that pressure. I blame myself for agreeing to tutor them together. Their rivalry seemed harmless at first, even friendly, just something to keep them motivated. But as it tends to be, one of them was always a step ahead. Soon any praise I had for one would pierce the pride of the other. And now they've both grown bitter and endlessly jealous of the other's success. They believe Somerset only has room for one great artist. Such foolishness. Honestly, it was their squabbling that led me to stop taking students.
Hey there, careful where you step. My livestock is having the dinner, and I won't have some bumblers stomping all over them. I've got enough trouble with their mating woes. These bugs happen to be the most desirable olive lint to crawl upon Somerset. Ground up, my beauties make the most brilliant shade of grey you ever did see. Why, I even got the artist Tindoria as a client. Oh, well, I did. What a shame. I always took her for one of the good ones. Never tried to cheat me or say I wasn't welcome. Always complimented my beauties when she visited. The ideal customer every time. To think that she would go so far as to sabotage my livestock. Because it turns out she's just like every other high elf on this island. I refused to sell my carapaces to her exclusively, and this is what happens. Veralel was just heartbroken when I had to turn him away. Yes, and he had quite a bit to say about Tindoria. He told me just last week she was complaining about my services. And I heard this wouldn't be the first time she's done something shady. Why, Ifra, to think I was so blind.
Wait, don't hurt me. This wasn't my idea, honest. I just did what I was paid to. Just let me go and I'll tell you everything. Oh, I don't know. Some sort of pheromone? It makes those nasty bugs sleepy, but that's it, I swear. It's not poison or anything. Why did I ever agree to work for that snobby artist? What? No, a fellow named Verilel. Nasty perfume, full of himself, typical artist. He paid me to sabotage this farm. Not quite sure why, but, well, I think it's about time I leave. No need to tell the authorities, right? That's it. This is the last time I get caught up in artist rivalries.
I trust your search was as fruitless as mine? He did? Honestly, I would love to believe that. Team Doria's support was the only thing I had going for my business for a long while. But what would Verilel have to gain from all this? That's true. Team Doria and Verilel have been rivals for as long as they've been artists. I even let that bastard convince me Team Doria was the one who did it. Ah, these artists and their rivalries. It's always us little people who are made to suffer. Here, take the last of my stock. I'm sorry I ever took the word of that perfumed pansy over Team Doria. Just glad I'm able to get her this shipment. That gentleman never did me a bit of harm.
Another one? You there! Come here! I bet you've come here for an Aurealis bloom. Well, tough luck. Fresh out. Last one was nabbed a fortnight ago. Come back in about a year. Maybe I'll have another one by then. Why else would you come here? The view? You know, once you could get an Aurealis anywhere. Now it's all but gone. Blotted out of existence by the greed of artists. You heard me. As soon as they learned it made a pretty paint, that was it. Didn't care that it takes over a year to grow, and that's only with proper care. No, they had to have it. And so they took, and now there's nothing left. What are you, deaf? Or just scared to go back empty-handed? Look, I told you that plant is gone. Go find another bloom for your fancy painting. Off with you now. Just leave me and my garden be. Off with you now. I have a lot to do, and you're not helping by stomping about my delicate plants. What are you? Some sort of monster? Can't leave a plant on the brink of extinction alone? Can't let the rest of Somerset enjoy its natural beauty? All for some paint? Fine. I have one left, under the basket there, but you can't take it. Of course I did. Why would I let you have one of the last, if not the last, surviving blooms? If you take that plant, the species may be wiped out for good. Did you ever, in your obsession with paint, think about what you're taking from Somerset? Yes! That's what I've been saying all along. You're about to uproot what could be the last Aurealis on Somerset and grind it up for some painting. How could you do something so horrible? You really want to take the chance? I'm telling you, I've searched all over this island. This is the only one I could find. In less than a year, it will spread seeds. I'll nurture them, help rekindle the species. Please, just don't do this. Finally, someone who sees reason. Thank the stars. And thank you too, kind traveler. After the last visitor, I was just about ready to give up hope that I'd ever meet a kindred soul. Oh, but damn that Verilel. I'd have 2 blooms if not for him. Yes, Verilel. The blasted artist who took the last Aurealis bloom I cultivated. That's why I was so desperate to save the only surviving plant.
Hold, courier. I would like to have a word, if you would. You know, I've heard quite a bit about your little venture to acquire Tindoria's supplies for her latest sketch, and I must say I'm impressed. You've certainly proven capable. I have a proposition for you. Sell those supplies to me instead. Well, I could speak to how those supplies would be used in the service of art that touches the soul of mer and man. But I feel my words would not move you, so let's try another venue, shall we? I'll double whatever payment Tindoria has offered. Me do such a thing? As I told dearest Brodrin, it was Tindoria who sought to drive him to ruin. Why, I adore the little woodland elf. Tindoria has tricked you, my friend. Then someone she paid to incriminate me, no doubt. This game we play is one with many twists. Tindoria has simply made sure to be one step ahead this time. Sell me those supplies, and I'll even make sure to compensate Brodrin for the trouble. Well, that's a shame, isn't it? Such wonderful colors wasted on such a forgettable piece. I am a purveyor of the divine, my friend. Cannot blame me for trying. Off with you, then. I shall defeat my rival the old-fashioned way, with talent.
At last you return, and with my reagents! Come, I simply must see them. My genius is like a stallion waiting to be set free. Complication? A fine way to refer to Verilel. Oh, don't look so surprised. I can still smell that insufferable perfume of his. Yet here you are, which tells me you must have seen through his charade. Now, what of my supplies? Extinct? How could such a common plant go extinct? Just last week I saw some. Oh, wait a moment, was that last month? Last year? Oh, how the time flies when you're creating. No matter. Fine, I can work without it. I will, however, dock your pay. Oh, that scoundrel! Brodrin is a good mer, and he loves those bugs like his own children. This is intolerable news. How will I do without my sea grey? No, I cannot allow this. I will send Brodrin alone to cover this year's livestock. Oh, wonderful! I hoped she'd like it. I do wish she'd return to the city instead of living in that backwater swamp. Though perhaps something good can be said for her isolation, as she's created such a lovely teal. And here is your payment, as contracted. I am pleased you chose to honor our arrangement instead of siding with that scoundrel. Oh, I see it now. You're the perfect subject for my masterpiece. Your shining loyalty, your pure heart. Perfect. Your visage upon my canvas shall be viewed for centuries, I'm sure. Why, maybe one day it will be featured in a gallery with the Queen herself. It's really very generous of me. You're quite welcome. Oh, just a quick sketch then, to capture your essence. I simply must make sure I get the eyes right. There, that should serve well enough.
A coin for a soul in need.
almost there. Please don't hurt me. I mean you no harm. Emil, is that you? Where is Haladon? Is he all right? Auriel, forgive me. Please listen carefully. Emil did not murder Haladon. I swear it. The two of them only sought to help me. I suffered from a mysterious affliction. Haladon and Emil infected me with vampirism to halt the disease's progress. Gods, no! I came here with my companion Gerwardell. By the time we arrived, her illness was terminal. Emil tried to administer the cure to her too, but she broke free and attacked Haladon. There was so much shouting. I thought maybe they escaped. Stone abominations. Vampiric alchemy. If the Sapiarchs found out that Haladon had a hand in this tragedy, they would strike his name from the histories. Emil would never let that happen. Read Haladon's notes, you'll see the truth of it. Absolutely. Haladon and Emil loved each other deeply. It was obvious from the moment I arrived. Emil would never let something he did jeopardize Haladon's reputation. Were their roles reversed, Haladon would do the same thing. Guaranteed. I don't think you understand the Sapiarchs. It wouldn't be a simple matter of not praying over Haladon's grave. They would expunge his memory entirely. Every discovery he made, every scholarly paper, everything. It would be like he never existed. Undoubtedly. The Sapiarchs would probably dispatch a few vampire hunters to find me. But don't worry about that. I'll find a way to take care of myself. I believe so. The fog is gone. The flop sweats and sleepless nights with dreams of blood and stone. But the cost was high. Too high. Poor Haladon. And now there's the hunger. Yes, I can feel it creeping up the back of my throat. That thirst. It was just a tickle at first. Now, who knows how far it will go? Emil brewed this form of the virus alchemically. Maybe this will pass and I won't need to feed it all. I can hope. Never. Enough people have suffered on my account. Anyway, how would I find them? The shale skin disease claimed my sight before Emil had the chance to administer the treatment. I will find a way to survive without harming others. You have my word. My new condition does have a few benefits. My senses are keener now than they've ever been. I can hear the flutter of a moth's wings and smell lichens in the next room. It's enough. It will have to be enough. They called it osteochondritic fever, a rare virus that hardens the skin like stone and oyster shell.
And as if that weren't bad enough, it also drives you insane. Gerwedel had already succumbed to the madness when she attacked Haladan. We were part of a merchant fleet that got blown off course, wound up beached on an island full of slowed mischief. Something in the air there, or perhaps the water. All of us were infected. So far as I know, I'm the only one that survived. Truthfully, because he was the kindest, most generous mer I've ever known. We were childhood friends, you see. When I wrote to him about my condition, he didn't even hesitate. He just bid me come to Lilandra, no questions asked. Hurry to Lilandra, prove Emil's innocence. I'll find my way. Somehow. Emil will try to talk you out of revealing Haladan's plan to the Sapiarchs. He knows it would tarnish Haladan's legacy, and I know he wants to protect me. Don't listen. I can protect myself. Save Emil. That's what Haladan would want.
You again? I told you, I don't want to talk about this. I'm guilty. What? No. No, you're mistaken. No. You can't believe her. She's lying. I attacked Haladan. I killed him. You're making this up. No one will believe it. No. Please, you must burn those notes. If the Sapiarchs learn what Haladan and I did, he'll be ruined. Disgraced. All his work will be for nothing. And Norasea. Mara, save me. Poor Norasea. They'll kill her. Please, you must keep this a secret.
Poor Emil. He meant well. But these are shocking revelations. I never thought he'd be so reckless. Creating a potion to deliberately infect someone with vampirism? By the eight. If this gets out, the Sapiarchs may never trust us again. I care for Emil, but I have a whole guild to consider. We've brought many outsiders to Somerset, and our relations here are tenuous at best. Even if Emil didn't murder Haladan, creating a potion this hazardous is still grounds for exile. I spoke to Sapiarch Saratarel. If Emil makes a full confession, the Sapiarchs will let us handle the details of his imprisonment. I've arranged for Emil to return to Stormhaven. A familiar setting, sympathetic guards. It's the best I can do. No, but then there are many forms of freedom. Wouldn't you agree? Emil will have access to our vast library and ample opportunity to write and publish. he can still play a vital role in the advancement of the arcane arts. You have my word.
By Magnus, if what you say is true, Emil's innocent. You seem hesitant. Don't get bogged down in the details of his experiments. The important thing is that he didn't murder Haladon. You have to take this to the Sapiarchs. She's a vampire. I grew up in Shornhelm, and I know how dangerous they are. They drink people's blood for Mara's sake. Look, I pity Norasea, but we can't destroy Emil's life over one bad decision. Setting a vampire free is reckless. You know that. Haladon's dead, and if he truly loved Emil, he would gladly suffer humiliation to keep his beloved out of prison. You know that. As for the guild endures. We'll be fine. Just do the right thing.
There's nothing to consider. Even if I didn't kill Haladon, the vampirism was my idea. He never would have agreed to it if I hadn't pushed him. Haladon meant more to me than you'll ever know. His memory is all I have left. Don't ruin it. Please. Oh, Mara bless you. Losing Haladon was awful. I still see his bloody face with my waking eyes. The only thing keeping me sane is the knowledge that I might spare his reputation and the friend he dearly loved. Thank you for this kindness.
How can you condemn an innocent man to prison? He's obviously out of his mind with grief. I'd find a way to exonerate him myself if I thought anyone would listen. Damn your eyes, and the Sapiarchs!
I know this wasn't easy. Condemning an innocent man to prison makes me nauseous. But sometimes sacrifices have to be made for the greater good. As odd as it sounds, I think your decision brought Emil some measure of peace. Thank you.
Thank you once again. Haladon was the wisest, kindest, most beautiful soul I've ever known. I don't know if I'll ever fully recover from this, but the knowledge that his memory lives on sets my mind at ease.
You have new evidence to present? Very well. I trust your investigation was thorough and unbiased? Or rather, as thorough and unbiased as an itinerant newcomer can manage. What new evidence do you wish to enter into the official record? Well, that is a surprise. As farcical as your investigation might have been, I appreciate your willingness to side with the facts. It does much to restore my opinion of the Mages Guild in Lilandril. I've already spoken with the guild diplomat, Kalawende. We resolved to send Emil back to Stormhaven. Leaving a Breton to rattle around in a high elf prison would reflect poorly on all of us. Better to imprison him among his own kind. Mercifully, yes. The Mages Guild promised to imprison Emil for the rest of his brief Breton life. I have no reason to doubt their sincerity, given your honesty today. Let us put this matter behind us. The Guild and the Sapiarchs must move forward. Now, I see no reason to delay Emil's exile. I will formalize his conviction today, have him turned over to the Mages Guild shortly thereafter. This sordid affair has caused enough pain. I'll not draw it out. Your honesty and Kalawende's willingness to accede to our demands give me hope for the future. The Mages Guild suffers from all the vices of youth, but perhaps, with our help, it can grow into an organization worthy of its proud high elf heritage.